Obviously, I'm settled into my new house. Woo! And I'm feeling much more comfortable and grounded. But the past year was really hard. And it involved dividing up the contents of a house, packing, moving, dealing with work and being a mom and myself and my marriage and the dissolution of that and legal stuff. It was a lot. And let me tell you, packing to move is one thing. Packing to move out of a house when you've built a life with someone for the past almost 2 decades, that's entirely different. So in this video, I'm gonna sort of walk you through what that packing process was like, and then what moving day looked like, and then how unpacking went down. And then of course, how I picked some of the furnishings and some of the additional little renos that I did around this house. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel and give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to give me a hug right now. Look, obviously going through a divorce is a really hard time. And I was fortunate in that, actually I'm fortunate in many ways, but I was fortunate in that I have an amazing group of friends and an amazing family who was there to support and help me during this time. I found it very helpful to have stickers, like moving stickers that I put on my boxes. This was just something I found on Amazon, but I felt like it was helpful for the movers and for us, my team of help when we were unpacking. So I found that to be super handy. Another thing I did was I started acquiring boxes. So I was just asking friends, hey, if you get a big delivery, just let me know, and I'm gonna take the boxes. One of my girlfriends was doing some work with Elections Canada, and this was happening around the time of our federal election. So guess who got some boxes from Election Canada when that was over? This girl. I also went on Facebook Marketplace and I saw people who were getting rid of their moving boxes, took those. So yeah, I just sort of, made it happen, and I was stockpiling boxes. And then whenever I had some time here or there, or my mom had some time, we would, sit down, get some packing done. It is not enjoyable to live in a house full of boxes. Absolutely nobody enjoys living that way. And thank goodness it was only temporary. Now on that day, the house obviously was completely upside down. I mean, my old house was crazy. The other thing I feel about getting those moving stickers is that it made it a lot easier for the movers to know exactly what was coming with them. I labeled my boxes, obviously Melissa's, so that they knew and so that there was no confusion. When they got to this house, it was pretty quick and efficient for them to unpack. Now, the challenge in this house, of course, is that the main floor is on the second floor, whereas in most cases, your kitchen and all that kind of stuff is on the first floor. So my movers they got their steps in that day, that's for sure. Now, I moved into this house without much furniture, okay? I didn't take a lot of stuff with me from the old house. This couch I'm sitting on, I actually had custom built for this space, which sounds expensive, but when you price it out with other couches, this was actually a better deal to custom build. This rug I picked up at a sale. This coffee table in front of me I bought on Facebook Marketplace. I did also keep these brown chairs. I really like them, and there's a special little nook in the house that I just think is so cute and sweet, and I got a little side table for it. I got some cute pillows. Now, art is really interesting because Chad and I really loved art, and we bought a lot of pieces together. So one of the things when you move into a new home after you get a divorce, you don't want to bring things with you that necessarily bring too much energy from the past along. However, Chad and I had so many nice years together, and we bought a lot of beautiful art that made us both really happy. So when we were dividing our stuff, art was part of that. One piece that you may or may not recognize is right behind me. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love a palm tree. I have one tattooed on my body. I'm completely obsessed with them. Have been since I was a very, very young child. And this piece of art actually came from our former dining room. And to me, it's just such a showstopper. It just makes my heart happy. Now, the problem with this piece of art and it's not really a problem, but it's a challenge, is that it's a 4x6 and it's a very thin piece of glass. So getting this piece of art from my old house to my new house required me to hire a special art moving company. Yes, those exist, and boy, are they expensive. So I had to engage this company. I had to pay for them to move it, crate it. I barely breathed during this entire process. You know, it was not a job for a regular Joe. Like, a very specific expert needed to install this piece of art, and that is exactly why I paid the big bucks. But at the end of the day, the job was done correctly, and it looks beautiful, and it just, anyone who walks in here, this is what they see. Now, you'll also notice that I put in these built-ins. Prior to this, there were just these open niches, and I thought that they looked really weird. I mean, they were just beckoning for a built-in. And so I decided to put in these simple built-ins, and interestingly enough, the TV from the old house doesn't quite fit, but we made it fit-ish. I'm fine with it, and I think it works. And what I really like about this is that it's clean and it's simple. It's not over-styled, it's not under-styled, and overall, I'm just completely delighted with how this room looks. Now, I also put some shelves in my office because I noticed that there were those same kind of niches. And again, it was just beckoning for something. So I didn't spend a ton of money on it, but I felt like having those shelves were a really nice way for me to set up a nice sitting area that allowed me to kind of decorate and have some of my like loud, flashy, colorful things in one beautifully curated space. Something that I think is really important anytime you're moving in is to put those felt pads or protectors on the bottom of your furniture, because you want to make sure that your floors aren't scratching. I have dark hardwood floors here. Scratches are ever more obvious. And unlike the hardwood in my old house, which had built-in scratches to sort of make everything look worn and weathered, which is actually easier to maintain, these are all smooth and uniform, so I have to work a little harder to make sure that everything looks perfect. So those felt sliders, very, very important to have. Unpacking was a whole other journey in this house. It took a lot of work, and again, I owe it to my mom and some friends who just came over and put in the time and didn't even ask questions or make comments. They just helped me, and I owe them everything for doing that. Right now, this house feels absolutely amazing, and I still have more content that I'm going to be sharing with you about the move and about the house, and showing you around, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. Now, that brings me to this week's comment question, which is, when you move into a home and when you're living in the house, is the furniture placement that you have it? Or every now and then, do you like to move your furniture around? Try something new, redecorate or take stuff down from your shelves and put new stuff up? Or are you just the kind of person that's like happy with the way it looks and you don't think twice about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, I mentioned a few times in this video that I bought items from Facebook Marketplace, and I also sold a lot of items on Facebook Marketplace. And if you would like to know my secrets for how I did that and how I've made a lot of money on Facebook Marketplace, I've got a video right over here where you can learn all about that. A quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.